Wakatakate hauki teuro, wakatakate hauki tonga, kiyama kenatikta, kiyama taratara tai, he akayane te akura, he tio, he hoka, he hauhu, ti he mauri ora. That's right. I'm going to talk about Genesis Energy Limited company overview. So Genesis Energy is one of the most biggest power companies in New Zealand. It runs hydro, thermal, and wind power stations and supplies electricity to more than 500,000 customers around the country. So the company has a strong position in New Zealand energy market and plays a big role in keeping the lights on. Recently, Genesis started looking at new funding options after the government announced more support for renewable energy projects. This shows the company's part in the shift towards cleaner energy. But at the same time, Genesis still relies on fossil fuels to make sure energy supply stays stable, which raise some real questions about how sustainable it truly is. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about sustainability models. So I pick up triple bottom line and planetary boundaries. So because this model was clearly mentioned in this company website also. So when we go into the purpose, the triple bottom line models look at the company performance through three areas: people, planet, and profit. Planetary boundaries, on the other hand, focuses on how much pressure human activity can place on the environment before it becomes unsafe. When we use both models together, we can see how internal business goals and external environment limits interact to show the full picture of sustainability. Here's a overview of steps. For Genesis Energy, the triple bottom line model shows strong result in people and profit, like high employee engagement and community investment, but weak results for the planet because 3 million tons of carbon dioxide from Huntley. The planetary boundaries model shows that the company's target of 95% renewables by 2035 still isn't enough to meet climate safety limits. Together, these models reveal that Genesis looks successful financially and socially, but still causes environmental decline. Job creation techniques. Genesis often describe fossil fuels use as temporary and necessary for energy security, which delays stronger climate action. So the government supports this idea by using phrases like energy reliability, which justifies keeping coal and gas plants open. Both sides use these explanations to make slow progress and sound acceptable, creating the impression of action without real transformation. System lock-ins or barriers. Inside Genesis, short-term profit goals and reliability metrics keep the company tied to fossil fuels. Extremely government policy, energy grid design, and subsidies protect coal and gas generation. These internal and external systems reinforce each other, making it hard for Genesis to move away from fossil fuels. Systemic unsustainability. Overall, Genesis to look strong and stable, but the stability hides environmental weakness. The company and the nation continue to exceed safe climate boundaries while promoting renewable progress. This situation is what researchers call a rigidity trap, where a system is too stable to change even when change is urgently needed. Applications. To achieve real sustainability, Genesis must change how success is defined, not just by profit and also by emissions reduction. Policy should be guided by long-term environmental remits, not short-term political or financial cycles. Finally, the company needs to embed accountability for carbon reduction and include Maori co-governance to make the change fair and lasting. In this slide, I'm going to talk about two Maori values. First one is Kaitiaki Tanga and Wanahuga Tanga. So, Kaitiaki Tanga means gardenership. It's about caring for the earth and water as living ancestors, not just as resources. So, Vanahokutanga is about relationships. It's the idea that everyone and everything is connected, so we share responsibility for people, land, and future generations. Together, these values encourage a long term caring approach to sustainability that's based on respect and balance. So, how Genesis interprets it? Genesis uses Kaitiakitanga mostly in a technical way, focusing on carbon reduction, tree planting, and compliance reporting. With Vanahakutanga, the company supports community programs like School Gen and Genesis Ignite, which is positive, but they are more about branding and outreach than real shared decisions making with Maori. So, Maori values are used to show awareness, but not to change how decisions are actually made. Evidence of appropriation. We can see signs that these values are used symbolically. For example, Genesis still runs coal and gas plants at Huntley while talking about guardianship. There are also no Maori representatives on the board or any treaty based co governance structures. This means Maori input comes after the decisions, not before or during. Revealed contradictions. The company claims to protect the environment, but it keeps using extractive practices like fossil fuels. That's a big contradiction. It also promotes relationships with Maori communities, but doesn't give them real power in governance. So, consultation replaces true partnership. It looks like collaboration, but without actual authority. Implications for sustainability. True Kaitiakitanga means moving from control to genuine guardianship, caring for the environment for future generations, not just managing it as a resource. Real Vanahakutanga would mean a shared governance with Maori, not just symbolic engagement. In the end, authentic sustainability for Genesis means bringing Maori worldwide into begin Maori worldviews into leadership and strategy, not just communication or marketing. Side is all about stakeholder analysis. So the first group is government and regulators. The government and MBIA, but which means Ministry of Business, Innovation and Education, have a lot of power since they are both the majority owners and the main policymakers. Their focus is mostly on keeping energy reliable, especially during high demand or dry seasons, rather than cutting emissions quickly. Because their priorities often line up with short election cycles instead of long term climate goals, it slows down real change. This creates what we call political loop. Uh, Lenient policy leads to fossil fuel reliance, which keeps the company stable but also keeps emissions high. Second group is shareholders and investors. Investors hold strong financial power through their capital and dividends, but they don't push for fast, sustainable actions. Their main goal is a steady profit, so they support gradual progress that doesn't risk returns. This focus on short-term results limits bigger transformational investments in clean energy. This forms a financial loop. Profit leads to fossil fuel use for reliability, which keeps investors happy and the same system going. Third stakeholder group is Kiwi and Maori communities. So, Maori communities have cultural legitimacy and play a key role in kaitiaki or guardians, but they don't have much structural power in Genesis. They are often consulted after decisions are made rather than being involved in actual governance. There are still no Maori representation on the board or any treaty-based co-governance structures. This creates a cultural loop. Maori language and values are used to show legitimacy, but power stays with the company. Fourth stakeholder group is employees and contractors. Employees and contractors are the ones running day-to-day operations, keeping everything safe and reliable. Even though engagement and trust levels are high, their input to sustainability planning is limited. Contractors especially don't get much say. There's no clear transition plan for them when thermal plants are closed. This leads to an organizational loop. Stability and predictability are valued more than innovation, which slows down change. First, sustainability practice, climate transition, trialing biomass co-firing at Huntley Power Station. Genesis Energy's long-term goal is to toward a low-carbon future under its sustainability framework and Gen 35 strategy. The company plans to reach 95% renewable energy generation by 2035 and net zero emissions by 2040. One of the key projects supporting this goal is the idea of replacing coal with biomass at Huntly Power Station. Huntly is New Zealand's main backup power plant, so changing its fuel source has a big environment impact. In 2023, Genesis ran a pilot using 1,000 tons of biomass imported from Canada. The trial worked well and showed that biomass can replace part of coal with lower ash, lower moisture, and lower life cycle emissions. However, there is still a major gap. Genesis has not secured a long term supply of biomass and it has not committed to upgrading the plant for continuous co firing. This means the project is still stuck at the pilot stage. Shareholders strongly influence this practice. News reports show Genesis is working with forestry companies, EV landowners, government agencies, and biomass producers to build a domestic supply chain. These partners are critical because they will decide whether Genesis can move from a small trial to a full long term low carbon operations at Huntley. Practice 2 Energy Wellbeing category Home Warmth Support. Genesis define energy well-being as helping household live in warm, dry, and healthy homes. To support helpless communities, Genesis provides winter warm up packs, thermal curtains, LED bulbs, and personalized energy advice. Since 2020, Genesis has supported 2,388 families and donated over 11,700 LED bulbs and materials to households and curtain banks around the country. A key part of this work is the partnership with Winnie's Hamilton, which runs the Healthy Homes program. Their assessment show that around 70% of homes they visit are in serious need of support. But there is a major gap. Most of the support is still focused in Waikato. Many other regions do not have access to assessment or upgrades. Genesis has a goal of helping 20,000 households by 2028. But progress so far is still small and current help is mostly short term and product based. Several stakeholders influence this practice. Winnie's provides the assessments and home upgrades, and EV and Maori guide approach in a culturally safe way. This group all support the program but also highlight its limits, especially the lack of national coverage and limited capacity for larger structural improvements. Third, sustainability practice. Under sustainability business, Nagara creating pathways. Nagara is a Genesis Youth Development Program. It supports education, training, and employment for young people, especially those who face barriers to opportunities. The program offers scholarships, paid internship, work experience, and mentoring. Genesis works closely with schools, EV organizations, and community groups to help youth gain confidence, build skills, and prepare for future careers. Genesis explained that the goal of Naga Ara is to create opportunities for youth to gain skills, knowledge, and support they need to success in the future. However, there is a clear gap. Nagara is only available in certain regions, and access depends on whether school or community partners are linked to the program. This means many young people, especially in rural areas, do not get the same opportunities. Schools help identify students and support their learning. Community partners deliver mentoring and cultural support. Employers and industry partners provide real work experience. Families also play a key role by encouraging participation. First, smart strategy under the climate transition sustainable goal. Uh, the smart strategies achieve continuous 50% biomass co-firing net monthly by financial year 2028 using certified sustainable biomass and life cycle carbon accounting. The goal of this strategy is for Genesis to achieve continuous 50% biomass co-firing at Huntley by financial year 2028 using certified low carbon biomass and verified life cycle carbon accounting. The strategy directly responds to the expanded gap identified earlier. While the 2023 trial showed that biomass can technically replace part of coal, Genesis still does not have a long-term verified supply chain. The real challenge now is showing that biomass can be produced, transported, and used in a way that is fully sustainable over its entire life cycle. This strategy is smart because it's specific, because it includes clear actions, securing a 10-year certified biomass contract, forming domestic forestry partnerships. It is measurable through the target of achieving continuous 50% biomass co-firing. It is achievable because it builds on the successful 2023 pilot. It is relevant as Huntley is the company's largest emissions source, and it is time bound with a deadline of financial year 2028. A strong real world example is Vattenfall, which already uses fully certified sustainable biomass and transparent supply chain proof. Their model shows that large scale low carbon biomass generation is possible when long term supply certification and carbon accounting are in place. This provides a credible roadmap for Genesis as it moves toward a sustainable transition at Huntley. Second, smart strategy for energy well-being. The strategy is Genesis will launch a national energy well-being partnership by 2026 to deliver consistent support across all regions and assist 20,000 helpless households by financial year 2028. Genesis plan to provide a national energy well-being partnership program by 2026. The aim is to work with regional organizations so support is delivered consistently across the whole country instead of only a few regions. The measurable goal is to reach 20,000 selected households by financial year 2028 through home assessments, warm-up packs, curtains, draft stoppers, and personalized energy efficiency advice. The strategy is smart because it's specific, because it focuses on building one coordinated national network instead of small localized projects. It is measurable through clear indicators such as the number of homes accessed, households supported, and regions covered. It is achievable because Genesis already has a successful model with Hamilton, which proves the approach works. It is relevant because research shows that energy hardship is uneven across regions and needs targeted intervention for disadvantaged households. Finally, it is time bound with deadline program designed by 2026, partnerships by 2027, and full national rollout by 2028. The strong real world example is the Energy Saving Trust in the UK. They run National Energy Efficiency and Fuel Poverty Program in partnerships with councils and local groups. Their model shows that national leadership combined with local delivery is an effective way to scale energy well-being support across a whole country. Strategy. Nagara Creating Pathways. Genesis will scale Nagara nationally by 2026 to deliver consistent training, mentoring, and work pathways for 2,000 young people each year by financial year 2028. Genesis plan to expand Nagara into National Youth Skills and Employment Network by 2026. The aim is to give young people access to mentoring, internship, digital skill training, leadership development, and work readiness support, no matter which region they live in. The strategy has a clear, measurable target supporting 2,000 young people each year by 2028. This strategy is smart because it's specific. It sets out national system that includes youth organizations, training institutes, and employees all delivering the same core supports. It is measurable with clear indicators such as the number of young people participating, regions covered, and employment or education outcomes. It is achievable because Nagara already works successfully in selected regions. It is relevant as it addresses real gaps such as uneven access, limited reach, and structural inequalities that stop many young people from accessing training and work pathways. It is time bound with a national design due in 2026, a partner agreement in 2027, and full rollout by, rollout by financial year 2028. A strong real world example is Ostrad Renewable Energy Talent Development Program. Ostrad partners with schools and community groups to build youth skill for clean energy careers, showing how a national industry-led youth development system can work efficiently. This aligns closely with what Genesis aim to achieve through Nagara. Implementation table. Under the Sustainable Goals, Climate Transition, the first implementation method for hardly sustainable biomass transition program is Supply First, Upgrade Later method. This method takes a careful step-by-step approach to reduce risk. The idea is that Genesis should secure fuel supply first. This avoids spending money before the biomass supply is guaranteed. In this model, Genesis first signed a 10-year certified biomass contract, then develops a life cycle carbon accounting system to make sure emissions claims are accurate and credible. After those two parts are secure, Genesis can safely move to retrofitting Unit 5 without risking the standard asset. A real-world example is Brex in UK. First created strict sustainability standards for suppliers like certification like Forest Stewardship Council program for endorsement of forest certification, sustainable biomass program before upgrading its power station. This shows how securing certification and supply first lead to reliable and sustainable biomass use. Implementation method 2. Localized biomass sourcing network. This method focuses on building local biomass ecosystem around Hanli. Instead of relying on imported biomass from overseas, the idea is to source biomass from forestry waste, sawmills byproducts, plantation thinnings, and we manage forests within about 100 to 150 kilometers of the power station. This creates a strong regional supply network and reduces transport emissions. In this method, Genesis partners with forestry companies, sawmills, EV landowners, and wood processors. Together, they co-invest to turn wood deposits into high-quality biomass. This also helps meet certification requirements like FSC and PFFC, which we call Forest Stewardship Council program for the endorsement of forest certification. A strong real-world example is Vattenfall in Sweden, which sources its biomass mostly from local forest residues and certified supply clusters. Their model shows how regional sourcing can reduce emissions, support local jobs, and still meet strict sustainability standards. Uh, Plan for Energy Wellbeing, National Energy Wellbeing Partnership Program. The local energy navigator model. This method focuses on training a network of local energy navigators who work directly in communities. These navigators could be based inside EV organizations, councils, ministry groups, and community NGOs. Their role is to visit homes, carry out standardized assessments, install simple upgrades like curtains, LED, and draft stoppers, and give personalized energy advice. This allows support to be delivered in a culturally appropriate and locally informed way. A strong real world example is Community Engaged Energy Scotland. They run programs where community based advisors help households with home energy improvements. Their local place based model shows how trained navigators can successfully improve energy well being across many regions. Second method, implementation method under energy well being, integrated home support and referral network. This method creates one connected system where Genesis works together with EV partners, councils, NGOs, housing services, and community groups. After a household receives an energy well-being assessment, they are guided to the right specialist service for their actual needs. Instead of only getting small items like curtains or draft stoppers, families can be referred for things like installation upgrades, efficient heating, tenancy support, budgeting services, or other social help. This creates long-term improvements, not just short-term fixes. A strong real-world example is Cozy Homes. They coordinate full home retrofit pathways by connecting household with assessors, installers, and funding support. Their model shows how coordinated referrals can significantly improve home warmth, health, and energy efficiency. Under sustainability business, National Youth Skills and Employment Network, NAGA-ARA, Implementation Method 1, the Industry Partnership Model. This method focuses on building strong training and educational partnerships with technical institutes, universities, and vocational providers. Genesis would co-design learning pathways in areas like solar energy, wind technology, grid management, and energy efficiency. These are the key skills needed for future clean energy jobs. Genesis engineers would also support the learning by giving guest lecturers, supervising student products and projects, and providing technical mentoring. Partner institutions also would reserve dedicated places for Nagara students. This method directly solves the current gap where Nagara is available only in a few regions and does not yet offer structured technical pathways. A strong real-world example is Austrad, Renewable Energy Talent Development Program. Austrad works closely with universities and training institutes to prepare young people for renewable energy careers. Their model shows how industry design, training, and successfully builds the future workforce. Similarly to what Genesis is aiming to do. This method can be measured through student enrollments, internship placements, certifications, and successful transitions into employment or future training. Method 2, regional hub expansion model. This method focuses on setting up 3 new youth development hubs in regions close to Genesis operations. Each hub offers the same standardized program, school outreach, technical skills workshops, digital learning, and local work placements. This ensures that young people in different regions receive the same high quality support and opportunities. This method directly accesses the mind map in Nagara. Right now, the program is only available in a few regions. So many young people missed out. Regional hubs help expand access and make the program more consistent nationwide. A strong real-world example is Puhoro Academy, which operates regional hubs across New Zealand. They partner with Kiwi school and industry to deliver mentoring, STEM workshops, and employment pathways for Maori youth. Puhoro shows how a regional hub model can successfully scale youth capacity and workforce readiness across the country. Kia Wakakapi, Kia Waka Iritetapu, Kia Waiti Aitara, Kia Turuki Wakataka Ai, Kia Turuki Wakataka Ai, Kumie Kuye Taiki.